Your dog fell asleep about 10 minutes ago, and right now their body is telling you something you are completely missing. That tight ball they curled into, the paws going, the way they pressed their spine against your leg before they went under. Dogs don't just fall into random shapes when they sleep. Every position they choose is a signal about how safe they feel, how their body is doing, and honestly, how much they trust you. Number 7 is the reason I made this video. I sat on that research for weeks trying to figure out how to talk about it without sounding like I was exaggerating, and I still don't think I got it right. But once you hear it, you won't be able to watch your dog nap the same way. Welcome to Dog Bond. If you're new here, subscribe right now, because every video on this channel helps you understand the dog sleeping next to you a little better. 1. The donut. Your dog tucks nose to tail, legs pulled in, the whole body wrapped around itself like a cinnamon roll. You've probably looked at that and thought, oh, they're cold. Maybe. But there is a lot more going on. This is a 10,000-year-old position. Wolves do it. Foxes do it, which is actually why some canine experts call it the fox. Coyotes were sleeping this way on frozen ground long before your house had central heating. What's happening is two things at once. The belly and throat, which are the two most vulnerable spots on any canine body, get tucked away from whatever might come at them while they're out. And pulling into a tight shape shrinks how much skin is exposed to cold air, so body heat stays trapped. Here's the part people miss. If your dog sleeps in the donut all the time, even when the house is warm, that's not necessarily about temperature. Dogs that are new to a home, or anxious, or just haven't fully settled in will default to this position because it's basically a self-hug, a security posture. Puppies do it non-stop because their bodies are still figuring out temperature regulation and because that tight curl feels like being pressed against littermates. Most grow out of it by 12 to 18 months. My rescue did the donut for almost 3 months straight when I first brought him home. Didn't matter that it was the middle of July. He'd curl into this impossibly tight ball on the couch like he was bracing for something. Then one morning, I came downstairs and he was flat on his side, legs everywhere, taking up half the sofa. That was the day I knew he'd actually decided to stay. One thing vets flag though, if your dog has been sprawling out comfortably for months and then suddenly switches back to a tight ball, that can mean they're guarding a sore abdomen. A sick dog balls up to protect what hurts. If the switch is sudden and your dog seems off, get it looked at. But usually the donut is just your dog doing what dogs have done forever. Finding safety in the shape of their own body. 2. The side sleeper. Your dog stretched out on their side, legs loose, belly partly showing. If that's their go-to, good. That means you've done something right. A dog on its side with its belly exposed in the wild is a target. Organs right there, no protection. No quick way up. No wild animal would ever sleep like this unless it was absolutely sure nothing dangerous was nearby. Your dog picks this position because they feel that sure about you and about where they live. This also happens to be where the good rest lives. Dogs drop into REM sleep, the stage where dreaming happens, far more often when they're lying on their side. Researchers observed that when dogs start dreaming, the muscles go slack, and they naturally roll out of whatever upright position they were in. The body just follows the brain down into rest. That's when you get the twitching, the little leg kicks, the muffled sounds. I'll come back to that idea when we get to number 4, because it connects to something bigger about trust. 3. The Superman. Legs out front, legs out back, belly flat on the floor. Your dog looks like they got shot out of a cannon and just stayed where they landed. Puppies own this one. They burn so hot and crash so hard that they literally run out of energy mid-play, drop flat, and are unconscious for 5 minutes before popping right back up. But it's not purely about being exhausted. A dog in the Superman position can push off the floor and be standing faster than one that's curled up because everything's already extended. They're resting and they're ready at the same time. On hot days, it's also a cooling move. Dogs can't sweat through most of their skin. Their only functional cooling sweat glands are in the paw pads. So pressing a thinly furred belly against cool tile is one of the most efficient ways they can shed heat. If your adult dog does the Superman a lot, they're saying, I'm tired and I'm not finished. 4. The belly up. Okay, this is the one from earlier, and it means more than any other position on this list. Flat on their back, paws up, belly wide open, tongue probably hanging sideways, head maybe lolling off the edge of the couch. They look completely absurd and completely unbothered. The belly up is the most exposed posture a dog can take. Everything is unguarded, throat open, no fast way to flip and defend. In the wild, sleeping like this would get an animal killed. Your dog does it because your home is the opposite of that. They have shut off every survival instinct their ancestors relied on for thousands of years. And that is not a small thing. That's your dog telling you, with their whole body, that they trust where they are. There's a temperature component too. Dogs carry less fur on their bellies than anywhere else, so flipping over puts their best cooling surface in contact with air. The paw pads, only spot with working sweat glands, end up fully exposed as well. On warm days, your dog might go belly up purely to cool down, not just because they feel safe. What I want you to pay attention to is the change, not the position. If your dog used to sleep belly up regularly and then stops doing it, don't brush that off. That can point to stiffness, joint discomfort, or reduced flexibility. Early physical warning signs. I had a friend whose lab stopped going belly up around age 8. She didn't think much of it until the vet found early hip dysplasia a few months later. She still talks about how she wished she'd caught the clue sooner. Sometimes, the disappearance of a position tells you more than the position ever did. If any of this is shifting how you think about your dog, hit subscribe because we're not done. 5. The lion pose. Head resting on the front paws, body upright or slightly crouched, legs tucked under. Looks like a sphinx outside a temple. This is not deep sleep, not even close. Dogs in this position have their muscles partially engaged, weight set so they can be up in a fraction of a second. They pick the lion pose when they're waiting on something. Your car in the driveway, the other dog getting up, dinner. One vet put it simply, dogs sit like this when they know something's about to happen and they don't want to miss it. What's interesting is how it transitions. As a dog in the lion pose drifts off, the muscles release and they slide into side sleeping almost on their own. The lion pose is the entry point. It's where sleep starts, not where it stays. A dog that holds it for long stretches and never drops into anything deeper could be dealing with anxiety or hypervigilance, though most of the time they're just a light sleeper. 6. The circler, not a sleeping position. The thing that happens right before one. Your dog paces in a circle, 2 loops, maybe 5, paws at the bed, digs into the blanket, and then finally drops. Looks like a quirk. It's actually one of the oldest canine behaviors that exists, and someone tested it properly. At the University of British Columbia, a team put 62 dogs on 2 surfaces, one smooth, one uneven. Dogs on the lumpy surface circled 3 times as often before lying down, and nearly 1 in 5 went around more than a full rotation. On the flat surface, almost none circled at all. Circling is nest building. They're flattening the surface, checking for lumps, pressing it into shape. The deeper reason is evolutionary. Wild canids circled to push down tall grass, check for snakes or insects, and position their nose into the wind so they could smell threats before seeing them. Your dog doesn't need to scan your bedroom floor. But that wiring doesn't just disappear because the environment changed. One author called it a nest-building instinct that outlasted thousands of years of domestication. Worth noting, if your dog circles 10, 15, 20 times before lying down, that can signal pain or, less commonly, a compulsive behavior. Bring it up with your vet if it seems excessive. 7. The twitcher. This is the one I asked you to wait for. Your dog is fully out, deep asleep, and then it starts. Paws twitch, legs paddle, lips pull back, a little bark leaks through, or a whimper. You've watched it happen 100 times and probably just thought it was cute. What you're watching is your dog dreaming, and we actually have the science to back that up. Researchers at MIT monitored animal brains during sleep and matched the neural patterns firing in REM to patterns recorded during waking activity. The match was so precise, they could pinpoint which specific moments from the day were being replayed. The animals were rerunning their experiences inside their own heads while they slept. Dogs go through the same sleep stages we do, REM included. During REM, a brainstem structure called the pons locks down the major muscle groups so the body doesn't physically act out what the brain is processing. Those twitches you see are small signals that slip past that lockdown. Your dog's legs want to run, but the muscles are off. I need to be honest, the next part is what got me. I remember reading this for the first time and just staring at my dog asleep on the floor and feeling like an idiot for every time I just walked past him napping without thinking twice. A clinical psychologist at Harvard Medical School, when asked directly what dogs dream about, gave an answer that's been repeated millions of times since. She said humans dream about whatever they're focused on during the day, just more visually and less logically, and that there's no good reason to think animals work any differently. Since dogs are usually deeply attached to their owners, she said, your dog is probably dreaming about your face, your smell, and about making you happy or driving you crazy. When your dog's paws are going in their sleep, there is a real published scientific basis for the idea that they are dreaming about you. Not about food, not about squirrels, you. One more thing on this. Small dogs dream more frequently, about every 10 minutes, but each dream only lasts around a minute. Big dogs dream less often, roughly every 60 to 90 minutes, but their dreams stretch to 5 or 10 minutes. So if you have a big dog and you catch them deep in a long one, they might be replaying their whole day with you from start to finish. If this video changed anything about the way you look at your sleeping dog, send it to someone who needs to see it. Subscribe to Dog Bond so you don't miss what's next. And tell me in the comments, does your dog curl into the donut, or do they go full belly up like they own every inch of your house? I want to hear it. The way they sleep is the way they feel about you. Now, you know what to look for.